now, and I think we're live. Doo-ba-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Well,
Yeah.
hello out there
Hello. How do you do?
in the multiverse.
We are back, and we got a little bit of a paint job for the for our podcast here. I actually decided to do some work for once instead of complain about things. How you doing there, Gematria Database?
Doing awesome as always, or never. One of those things.
Great story. I'd love to hear it, but fortunately, we got work to do.
Right? Get back
uh,
on track. This
yeah,
is not off the rails. Oh wait, yeah, it is.
yeah, it
Get back
totally
on
is.
track.
Get back on track off the rails.
Off the
But
rails on track.
well, it's definitely an evening. Sorry for the delay getting this out, guys. The editorial we came into a little bit of difficulties with certain things here, and we're just trudging along, just slogging away in this slog fest on this glorious day, on this 23rd of June, 2022. How can a year possibly be worse than 2021? Well, that's 2022 in a nutshell. Anyway, um, we have to continue the Megapacked Mega Edition, where we uncover 6 shows. Now, last week in part one, we did the was it the new Kenobi show, Obi
Yep.
Wan Obi-Wan
Yep.
Kenobi. Very originally titled too. But and then you brought up The Boys, and we closed it off with Stranger Things. Now, unbeknownst to me, because I'm an idiot, and believe me, there's lots of proof out there. You don't have to go too far to find it. But the finale's coming up. This is just part two. It's not a new season. It's parts 8 and 9 are still left in their double barrel shotgun, ready to blast it all over your face. I mean your eyes.
What?
Yeah, it's coming. It's
Which
coming
one?
soon. Stranger Things. The finale's coming.
Oh, real?
That
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
What
true.
it wasn't the end of the season as I thought.
Yeah, there.
I,
Yeah, that's what I heard too. They're like that. It's like in July, right?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do something over at the cafe involving that.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that'll be interesting. And since we covered Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Star Wars story, Obi-Wan Zen Sleepy. um, yeah, I watched the finale, and for anyone out there who's seen it, don't worry, this ain't a spoiler-ridden bit. The reviews that we're doing tonight will be, but this won't be. Yeah, it was all right. It was good. It was good. It was all right. I didn't mind it. It was that felt like Star Wars to me. I didn't feel robbed or switched. Oh, there's a little bit of a bait and switch, I guess. I guess you could say. Hey, without getting too close
Switch and
to
bait.
yeah, yeah, bait and switch, switch and bait. Yeah,
Switching bait.
I just switched it around. That's what I did. See what I did?
Yep.
No, or did you do that?
Yep.
I don't even remember what
Yeah.
I did.
No, I did it. I did it. Yeah.
Oh, you did it. See, I'm trying to take credit for
Yeah, you're
it.
trying to take credit. See how you are with your honesty.
That's how I am. But yeah,
Harnessing
so
all over the place.
I didn't mind that, and the boys is careening along. It's ballistic trajectory. That's a thing to. It's a spectacle to behold. Let me tell you. Uh, it's very, very, very not nice and insane, but very much fun. But anyway, we're gonna be opening up with our friend here, Gematria Database. He's gonna be talking about which show now? What show did you say?
From
From.
from.
Yes. And if you don't know what the show From is, just have a gander as we go and have a preview, a purview. Hey, how come? What the shit? No, it changed. It did. It just totally changed things on me, bastard computer. Oh well. I swear, you just can't win. You can do 1,000 things right. Yeah, that's so bizarre. Why does it want to see that? We do that. Huh. Oh, you know what? I know why. Because it took a screen. Oh, it's not showing me what it's doing in real time on the. I'm in studio mode on OBS, if anyone's wondering. So I know it's technical. But on one screen over here, it shows what screen I got queued up. But it's not updating the actual thing that it's showing. It took a screenshot. But we'll watch this. Oh, wait a minute. See, now, I don't know. It's not cooperating. It's being a total
You
asshole.
not knowing person.
It's just being a pain in the thing. Oh, wait, hang on. Hang on a second
Pain in
here.
the dinger.
It's being a pain in the ass. Why is it doing that? It's not showing parole. That's the thing. It's not showing my player. Damn you. Sons of bitches.
No.
It's got all my windows but the one I want. From season. What is this? Where is it? Right here. Boom. Got it. Okay. I'm
And we're back.
training. I don't know. Just rename the thing so it went and changed it on its. I had it working 2 seconds ago. Well, I mean 2 minutes, 20 minutes ago.
That you.
Anyway, here we go. This is the preview for, or trailer rather, for From.
Hey!
Must have got knocked down in a storm or something.
It's a pretty selective storm.
What are they doing?
Can we just leave, please?
Jim!
In this dirty old part of the city,
Maybe we missed the sign for the highway.
We didn't miss the sign.
when the sun refused to shine.
Can I help you?
We got on a detour off the highway and cell service around
Got
here.
your family with you?
Yeah. I was wondering if you could point me in the direction of the highway.
No problem.
And one thing I know is true.
What do you say?
Stay on the road.
You're dead before your time is due.
Did we turn somewhere?
God damn it.
Jim, we're driving in circles. You drove out this way. How did we get back here?
Everybody in there okay?
This is impossible.
Yeah, it is.
Where are we?
I know none of this makes sense yet. Everyone in this town has been exactly where you are right now. Everyone sees the tree. Those throws.
We'll just get out of here, please.
Kevin, we are stuck.
We didn't come here. We were brought.
What are you doing?
I'm checking to see if they moved.
If what moved?
The trees.
It's important for you to understand what happens after dark.
Lock your door, nail your window shut. You do these things, your family's gonna be safe.
Safe from what?
I've missed you so much.
Megan, what are you doing?
Maybe I can come in.
This is what happens when you break the rules.
They're coming.
There's only so many places we can go.
What are they?
You believe in monsters.
Please don't.
A man protects his family.
Get these people home, Sheriff.
Do everything I can.
Promise me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super creepy. And wow, I was very, very, very surprised in that first, uh, in that basic cold open. Really, that's a super cold open. Let me tell you. When you see it opens up with the mom, uh, saying goodnight to her daughter, and the granny comes to the window. You're on the second floor, by the way. How do you think she got up there? Think she could climb? Stupid kids. But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
no,
wasn't weird at all.
and then it cuts away right after you hear the jump scare. Bah! You know, you basically got opens up to the morning, and yeah, you see the kid just open rib cage, just flayed, just like wow, holy, that's the open. Where
Yeah, that sounds fun.
what are you hiding from the police or something? Look, where you're just showing the top of your head and your eyes. It's like you're hiding from us. What are you doing there? So yeah, go for it. What are your thoughts on this show, man?
Well, as a horror aficionado, I really enjoyed it. Thinking that it was going to be like more of a suspense thriller, but since lost people were involved, I knew there was going to be twists and turns. There was going to be like some sort of other group, and there was going to be like cryptography of some sort.
Mm.
I didn't know what it was.
Well, in a way, there kind of
Build
is with the talismans that they carry. Those
Exactly.
talismans, yeah,
Yep.
those definitely bear some kind of pagan kind of. They look very paganish anyway to me.
Yeah, generally drawn on rocks. You know, it's like
Like they're either rune
runes.
stones, yeah, runes, yeah.
Rune stones were always on rocks. So, and also like those
That's very
totems.
Wiccan, isn't it? That's very Wiccan. Like it's kind of
No, Wiccan is like a new thing,
is it?
taking
Well,
back
okay,
the old stuff.
but doesn't that come from rune
It's
magic?
Druid,
I thought it came from rune magic though. Okay, maybe I was
Celtic,
wrong. Sorry.
Celtic.
Right. Fair enough. So
Yeah. So the
yeah,
and that pagan lifestyle or whatever. But
but
the idea of putting it on stones in the pagan culture is because stones have a life of their own, and they
yeah,
hold
that's
energy.
in that panpsyche kind of philosophy where everything's alive, even a rock.
Yeah, so like when they supposedly like etch something into the rock that has the energy, it's like almost like storing it,
Mm,
storing that symbol of the energy that the symbol produces into
right.
the rock, right? So
Well,
then when you use it, then you're actually supposedly getting that energy, if you will. So
right.
I think
Well,
that is what they were kind of portraying in this is
mm,
that this energy from what was etched into the rock, which was some sort of spell, right?
yeah.
Um, what they didn't do it, they just found them.
Right. Which
Specifically, one
implies
person found it.
so okay. Which actually that's a good way to segue into like the first kind of a component that I wanted to talk about with this show, is that
Okay.
it's got some roots in its development from some of the same people that worked on Lost, and it definitely feels like Lost. Like if you didn't end up on an island, you would have ended up in this fucking nightmare of a place. You know what I mean? But it's
Exactly.
definitely
It's like it felt like a pocket universe type of thing.
yeah, but it's definitely got some traits in common with Lost. They're doing this kind of they're building the
You've
mythology.
never seen Vivarium, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No, but
It reminded me of that.
oh, okay. Well, anybody else that's listening. Oh, by the way, this is going to be massive spoilers for these shows. So if you haven't seen them, stop this now. Don't continue. We will be talking about this show. We'll also be covering Strange New Worlds after this, and then you'll be wrapping it up with some more Orville talk, wasn't it? Yeah, was it?
Yeah, Orville.
Yeah, right on. But anywho, continuing on, yeah, I definitely felt that they're building a mythology very quickly, but it's almost like it advances in levels like a video game, which is what Lost did. You know what I mean? Like each thing was like a puzzle. You complete the puzzle, and then you get like you level up. You know what I mean? I know.
Yeah, definitely. And your understanding of what was going on in this environment gets more clearer.
Right. Because as a point of view character, we kind of come into the story as that family, this the mom and the dad, and their boy and their girl, that those kids that they have. So like, it's kind of from their eyes that we kind of perceive everything. And right away it's messed up because they get into a car crash and everyone's freaking out. The sun's about to go down, and like they can't move the boy because the boy's got a piece of a tree root stuck through his leg that punctured the recreational vehicle that they had, and it's tipped over on its side. Yeah, it's turned sideways in the ditch in the forest. So basically, there's no shortage of tree roots to stab you with. But yeah, so everyone's kind of freaking out. Now, the dad stays behind with the sheriff and a nurse, I think, right, to take care of the kid initially.
Yeah.
And they do an experiment that, like, this is like the first experiment of the whole series, as we learn what the rules are, and we learn to not end up like the young girl and her mom, who both perished, by the way, because the daughter opened the window. I guess they gained entry into the house that way. These talismans are how they keep them out of the houses, because they hang up the talisman.
Yeah, where was the dad? Why were they by themselves?
Oh, he got pissed drunk and passed out somewhere, and he didn't make it home. And yeah, he wasn't there to lay down his foot. Yeah, it's a little bit paternal. Sorry, guys. I mean, girls. I mean, whatever. It's a little it's a paternal society, but hey, I guess the dad wasn't there to put his foot down, and yeah, got his family killed. So yeah, that was kind of crazy. Yeah, they made him pay for that. We'll talk about it later. Well, they put him in a box. Night in the box. You won't sleep in the box with no talisman.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he got eaten. But
and he got played just like his children, just his child and his wife.
They could have done less damage to the box though, because the sheriff worked hard to build that box.
Yeah, but I think that the idea behind the box is it's made to be able to break.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny the way I noticed it was kind of like, because it was slotted, like it was slotted with like 2x6s or 2x8s or something. Actually, but I think they're 2x8s, so they're like basically like slats put in, so they break. We need about 3 more 4-footers. Yeah, we need 3. We need about Cubby 6 4-footers and 7 2-footers. Slot them in. All right. Who else fucked up? No. Yeah, it was kind of interesting ordeal though, because like the sheriff didn't want to look like an asshole, like, because he said, yeah, you don't follow these rules and someone dies, it can be bad for a lot of people. Like, like they have one house which is kind of like separate from the town. So in the town you got all the houses that were built that the people live in. But there's also a community house where they're, and they have a completely different rule set, but they follow the basic general rules of the village, which is like, get inside before the sun goes down. It's a pretty simple rule, and make sure the talisman is set in place, and hung there. I don't know why someone hasn't taken a friggin' a fucking torque screwdriver, just fucking jam that thing into the fucking wall right next to the door, make sure it never falls. I don't know. I'd cement the thing.
Maybe it has to hang.
Maybe it has to hang. That's a pretty specific rule. But yeah, I don't know.
It's like if you think of pagan stuff, That is how it used to be. Like with spells and things like that. They used to have talismans. They used to have things that hang.
Well, doesn't the horseshoe kind of borrow the same kind of ideology? Because like with the horseshoe, you have to have it turned the right way up, or else all the luck will run out of it. Like it's a superstition, but it kind of pertains to energy being held in a container. If you understand what I
Yeah,
mean.
there's probably origins behind that, which
Yeah,
have to do with
yeah.
what we're
Like
talking about.
that's a
I
pretty
think the
modern one.
I think
That
the horseshoe is the modern version of this,
yeah.
essentially.
I would agree with you there because the horseshoe is a pretty modern invention, like in terms of the bigger picture of things. But yeah, hey, look at that! You get a little bit of history too, and show reviews. But no, the whole thing with the box and the talisman brings up, like I said, the very first test, which was in that first episode, and the sheriff basically inside the RV that was tipped over on its side, he hung up the talisman in there and just hope for the best.
Hoping it will work.
Yeah, and as we learned, it worked, and also that's how these people are living. But we also learned something else, and it's that they didn't always have these talismans. And that's another story. That's even fucking crazier because then they didn't have the talismans. These things would come and go as they saw fit through houses and eat people. So they had to hide, and they had these underground bunkers.
And back then they'd screech.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, they'd screech and howl and stuff and scare the shit out of you.
After
we had
the talismans, they had to start talking.
It had us thinking they were wraiths at the time.
Yeah.
You know, but mythically speaking. But yeah, I think there's another
compare them to something.
Yeah, no, I think they're definitely shit. I can't remember the term, but very much like the what do you call them in the freaking what's that Will Smith one with the zombies? They're not really zombies though. They got the crazy virus. What the hell? It reminds me of those.
Legend. I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. That's the one. Thank you, sir. But yeah, it reminds me of those things for some reason. Like when I think of how they act, but it's hard to believe though because they're not just like monsters, like a mindless, a bunch of, and they can do mimicry. They can mimic people. Like they can get into your head and they can mimic people that that you've lost and that that they've consumed because they consume a lot of people usually. Anyway, they're very, very much like those creatures, I think, in a way. But they also have their own social system because, as we learn, there's one that was keeping up this constant facade of guy's girlfriend. Remember the guy? Like, what a dumbass! Like knowing what you know, those things would be nailed shut. Those fucking windows would be nailed shut. If I couldn't if I couldn't screw the talisman to the wall because it had to be hung, I'd at least nail the fucking windows like shut. Like
okay, so we also have to talk about how they separate the town from the townhouse.
Yeah. Well, I kind of touched on that with the colony because they have like a community house where a bunch of people live, and they have a completely different kind of a social rule set than the people in the town because they live in the houses and they kind of in a way they're under the martial law of the sheriff. So like houses get assigned to people. So you might live with somebody who's in another family. So be their daughter or son, in that sense. But
it depends. They choose. You choose on your own. So is what happens is the family that gets there. Yeah. Most of them choose to stay with each other, and then the daughter goes, "No, I'm gonna go."
Yeah.
Townhouse thing.
Well, because there was a house available to live in, but they do give the option. They say, "Do you want to live in the town or do you want to live in the common house?" And you get the one chance to make that decision. That's kind of the gist I got from it. Am I right about that?
Yeah, it was a choice, and that was it.
Yeah,
it was like they had like a ritual for it.
A town meeting, and like it's conveniently, it's next to the graveyard. But whatever, we won't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
It
can we
almost, it
have?
almost felt like a lottery, right?
Yeah. But I was thinking about that though, because remember, what was it? Oh shit, what's his nuts? Yeah, what's his nuts was out for a walk. Remember? Yeah, we'll talk about this guy, the rich guy, the Elon Musk kind of character. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's a whole nother conversation, really, to be fair. But anyway, moving forward there. Yeah, it was just funny. I thought it was really fucking hilarious that they would have like their town meeting was right. They're burying that girl and her mom, like that morning, like right next door to where they're having the town meeting. I would have the town meeting somewhere just a little less. I don't know.
Macabre.
Yeah, that's just poor, I don't know, bad taste. Maybe it's convenient because the very next thing they did was pay their respects though, and showed the dad because the dad woke up from his drunken stupor and came across it and like, see what you did. This is what you did. Oh, that was a sad scene. That was a sad scene when he showed him in the house. Look what you did. Oh man, I was like, oh god, I can't even think about looking at it. This is already making me sick.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it was bad. But no, the show doesn't. The show doesn't shy from being violent, and it's pretty good, man. Like it's not like senseless gore or nothing, but it's very graphic when it needs to be.
It does have suspense and stuff like that, but not really jump scares, except for that one in the beginning.
Yeah, that was it. Like that jump scare was just, I think it was like the one that does it right, just to set the tone and the pace for the rest of the series. I didn't need to do it again because you're like, okay, those things are fucked up. I get it. You know?
Exactly, and then they just kind of sneak in. That one where the guy like lifts the girl in, that like was stupid.
Oh, yeah, like I would be like, what the, like no.
And clearly, he had like some sort of infatuation with her for a while before he finally let her in. It's like
right.
It's
so
like, what is your problem?
So yeah,
don't
like
you know that was going to happen?
So anyone listening, obviously, you've probably seen this far. So I mean, we're either completely spoiling it for you because you're an idiot, or or you're just not in your head. But yeah, that whole bit with the guy letting that girl in, like time and time again, she's obviously like building a rapport. She's remembering. It's not like just a mindless monster that's coming in and doing mimicry from reaching into your brain and grabbing a memory. This is retaining and building up memories of earlier meetings and like working out an agreement. Of course, when he lets her in, she eats his face and starts letting in all of her friends. But nobody can just kind of come in through other. They can only come in through that window that they are granted entry. So there's another rule, by the way.
Kind of like almost like the vampire thing. Like
it's very much like the vampire thing, yes. And they're almost like kind of.
Maybe that has to do with the talisman. Maybe the talisman stops them from coming in without inviting.
Like. What is it? There's like from Dungeons and Dragons, like from the actual rule books, like there's a monster like that. I'm trying to remember what the heck it was called from the monster manual, and it was in the same family as vampires. Okay, so vampires, lycanthropes, like there's a whole bunch of different subspecies of undead. These are all in the undead category. Trolls are in the undead category. What else? There's a long list, but then you got your subgroups, right, of undead. Now, lycanthropes aren't undead, though. Sorry, the werewolves aren't undead, but they kind of fall into this other category that has overlap with. I don't know why I'm talking about werewolves, but the fact is that there seems to be a variety of things happening in this show, which is why I say it reminds me a lot like Lost. Later on in the show, there's a sequence where the sheriff goes out with, with one of the prisoners now, because she, that's a whole nother conversation too. So we'll just come back to that. To come back to this particular character, the crazy chick. Anyway, so sheriff's out with her.
Right.
There, he wants to try and see if he can find, like on foot. He wants to go as far as he can in one direction until either he ends up back in the town again, which is what happens when you're driving on the road, like in or out. You end up back in the same place again, which is very much like in the Mouth of Madness. There, remember that one scene when he's trying to leave? Very. That's what I totally got in the Mouth of Madness vibes from that whole scene.
I hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Love that
But-
movie.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. It's a classic. I have to watch it again because I haven't seen it in modern days. But anyway, going back there, friggin' yeah, it was really weird, Because they were in the tent, and again, now that you knew that the RV thing worked with the talisman, now they're really pushing their luck here. They're pushing their luck to be pushing up daisies, let me tell you, because they decided to hang the talisman in the tent. It's like, okay, those walls are just a little bit softer. And then we saw some weird activity happening. I'm talking bright lights. They were being tumbled through the forest. I don't know how that talisman didn't fall off the roof.
Something
but
was picked up the freaking
the whole tent and tumbled it somewhere.
And moved it.
Yeah, it was like as if it was moving, like from some kind of remote forces, picking it up and taking it, like friggin' Dorothy in her house in the Wizard of Oz, Friggin' it's crazy, and big, huge, bright lights. So I don't know, like if they're suggesting like a kind of like an alien kind of a phenomenon,
I was wondering that too.
Or maybe some kind of an Anunnaki kind of a legend, because the native peoples here in North America, and elsewhere, they don't call them the Anunnaki.
They ended up in a whole other pocket universe.
Well, it's almost as if the town itself is kind of an overlapping region of another pocket universe.
Several pocket universes, basically,
or
like
tendrils.
A pocket universe.
Or one pocket universe that's kind of loosely connecting or overlapping to ours. So in different places. So that way, imagine if it wasn't a clean divide. Like let's say
because remember that they told us in their origin stories that they all ended up seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
The bird.
And they all. Yeah.
The tree.
Yeah. And it's not like there's a funnel.
And
like
they're
it's
all from different places.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like there's a funnel to one place where they go and then they just start popping into this place and they can't leave. No, it's like they leave from anywhere on the map and they just end up here in that place and then they can't get out. So like you got people from all over the United States that they've shown. I saw United States and Canada actually on that map. But
what made me think of? There's a missing 411. Because it's like that supposedly happens in like these national parks. National parks are huge, and they have roads and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go missing in these national parks. And I think that this is like a possible answer to that. Like that's
like a what if.
Like yeah, what if kind of like, oh, this is what's happening to those people because it's like when you look on the map when they show like where all the people are from and they show that like they're all dotted in different places, I think those are national parks. Remember what they were doing.
That would be interesting to return to that
when the people that we're following, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where were they going? What were they doing before they ended up there? They were like on vacation or something.
Or going on a business trip, like from out of town, or
No, I'm talking about the specific people that we were.
No, I know, but
the ones that get in the wreck.
Well, we'll talk about the other character and come back to the weird events because all of these things actually lead to these weird events that make this thing like Lost. Like, am I right?
Yeah, and there's an interconnected vibe.
Yeah. So one of the characters is like, I guess he's some kind of a tech guru in this world. And he's a little bit Elon, a little bit Steve Jobs, and a whole lot of Forrest Gump. I don't know. He's kind of somebody. He's kind of like a quirky kid that just doesn't know how to act in front of people. I guess that's the best way I can describe him. And full of himself in the biggest way. He's convinced that the place is like a like a prank, but he thinks the whole place is put on it's like one of those escape rooms,
Yeah.
and it's like the
Okay.
whole town's in on it, and
Like a
so
whole
he
like
wa-
escape
he
island.
yeah, like an escape village, yeah. So he walks into the like he thinks his buddy brought him here on a to pull the wool over his eyes. So he thought his friend was playing a prank on him, bringing him to this place, right? Then he thinks he figured it out, and that the place is like so. He's like. He just starts walking around like he owns the place. He goes into the freaking restaurant, goes right to the beginning of the lineup, goes, just starts helping himself.
Because he thinks all the other people are like actors.
Yeah, actors and employees of this place that's putting on this whole escape village, facade, and they're just looking like, oh, we got another one. I guess some people's ability to handle the truth, is not is
So
is
then
just
you got
non-existent.
that guy who's drawing the pictures.
Right. Okay, so yeah, and he's like kind of like he is the Forrest Gump of the story, actually, technically, because he's old as piss, but he's got about 8 years in the brain, and
He's been there for a long time.
he's been there the longest out of anybody, actually. And the weird thing is that he doesn't remember. He doesn't really remember how he got there because he just remembers always being there, doesn't he?
There's an origin story to him.
Yeah.
He loses his parents.
He didn't. He doesn't like to bring it up or something, but what was it? He wanted confirmation of it. Oh, I'm thinking of the other. I'm thinking
His
of the
parents get
kid.
killed by the creatures.
I'm thinking of the other boy. I'm thinking of the other boy that he sees. That's right.
And this is
Never
when we
mind.
learn. And this is when we learn that the other creatures would screech originally.
That's right. So they changed their behaviors, and that was after the talismans were found. But what was I going to say? There is the so that guy, yeah, he's the one who notices the subtle things that are happening. That's in the trailer. You heard him saying the words, "I've been watching the trees for what? To see if they move." And it's like, and then he does report that they have been moving, and they got trees that are hollowed out that they can go inside of and teleport to another place, like other places in the village, and then to other places outside in the periphery in the forests. So we're starting to see translocation. We're starting to see, and I think our talk before about like druids and like druids and fairies and stuff like that, like from the pagan culture. I think that's a lot of what this is.
Yeah,
I
because
think
what happens in the fairy culture is iron like causes them to go into a pocket universe.
oh
That
so
happens in the Tuatha De Danann.
I think that's
An
I think there's a
ancient,
lot of I think there's a
pagan
lot of that
story
happening because we start to learn that there's
associated
also
with the men fighting against the fairies.
well we learn that there's a positive force.
War.
Yeah, we do learn that there's a positive force in this whole thing. It's not all just dark and bleak. There's also that boy, and I forget his story. Or did we learn all of it yet? I think that's been I think they're saving that, aren't they?
Oh, the boy that like shows up or whatever.
Yeah, because he's the reason that the guy who was watching the trees.
The old guy also knows the boy.
The boy saved him.
Like his friend.
Yeah, the boy saved him because the boy reached out to him at the time when those things attacked basically everyone in the town. And he came out of the hole and everything had happened. And so it was almost like a time portal at that moment. So it wasn't just
but the boy's not one of them. I thought originally that he was one of them.
No, he's not. He's another thing. That's what I mean. He's another force. Like I think there's another force that represents like the light side. I think we're going to see a light and a dark side, and that's why I'm kind of getting into this yin yang kind of
rhetoric.
I don't know, rhetoric. Yeah. It seems like you're going to have these opposing forces, and basically, I mean, wow, it doesn't stop being interesting.
There's an others.
Well, speaking of the leveling up, by the time we get to the end of that first season, I feel like we're leveling up, like in a video game. It's almost like okay, things are just up the ante. Like the creatures are going to get
I
worse.
think we're
There's,
getting like a lost story from a different perspective.
yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. I think it's like
Almost
lost.
like it's in the same universe.
Yeah. It's almost the same rules in a way, like the like what was it? They even make a reference. It's kind of funny. I think it's in the third or the fourth episode, where the priest, by the way, is the character that plays the priest, or the actor that plays the priest was in Lost. He was actually one of the other characters.
Oh, okay, that's why you look familiar.
Yeah, he was actually in Lost, and he ends up saying, he has like a throwaway line saying something about, well, if you think this is purgatory, you're wrong.
Oh yeah.
Totally making reference to Lost, because anybody who's seen Lost and didn't like the ending, which were a lot, present company included. This guy right here. Oh man, I was like, that's what I get. How many years is it? 5 years, 7 years? That's what I get after this many days. Yeah, I was not one bit happy. But I do digress. What do you think?
Oh,
What do
I like it. I was hooked. I had to like wait to watch it, but I was able to see the whole thing and then in fruition. I like how everything played out. It really cliffhangers every episode, which get you wanting to go like, oh, I'll just watch another one.
Right.
So binge worthy, but
It's a hard binge.
you kind of need a little bit of separation in order to like let it sink in.
You got to process it because it's pretty dark
Some
stuff.
of the information is like so like out there.
Yeah,
And
you got to let it
you're with the
marinate.
characters
Yeah.
that don't know what's going on, so you're getting the information in the same sense as if you were there,
Yeah.
and you don't know what's going on.
It
So
starts.
everything is like
Yeah.
kind of presented to you in a certain way, but then you get backstories, and then
Yeah.
that allows you to understand why these people are the way they are.
I was just gonna say, because it starts off as a point of view characters of that family, and then it kind of opens up its wings to you, and then like starts telling the backstories, and then it starts to get a little bit more individual and specific. Man, the one character we didn't even talk about, which is just, we could do a whole podcast on her. It's just we'll never mind. But it's definitely, people put thought into it. I just hope that these aren't
They're good characters that you kind of don't know what's going on, but once you understand the character development and how they interact with each other,
I just
hope
hope
it really fills in, and you feel for them because you realize they're just stuck there.
That's right, and like they're all stuck together too, like with all your fucked upness and everything, like, you know. But I just hope that these. I just hope that these aren't like JJ, you know, his famous freaking mystery boxes.
I know who you're talking about now.
Do
Yeah,
you?
you're right. That's like fucking that crazy woman. Doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
Yeah.
Listening
And that,
to them.
yeah, that's a whole
listening to
nother. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. I got very much. I got huge like Stephen King vibes from that myself. Like,
yeah, because
like,
it was so raw.
It was raw, but it was also like Stephen King does that kind of thing where people go completely like freaking like just like incredibly psychotic, and they're under the influence of some other like force. Like, you know, like Stephen King.
Yeah, there's like a reason.
Yeah. But anyway, that's
But
like I said.
That was really sad when she lost her brother.
Yeah. That was.
Because the brother didn't seem to be a bad guy.
No, I think. I don't even want to say it, but I think there's a little bit of incest going on there behind the scenes. I
Oh,
don't
the way they like look at each other
the
and
way
like care for each other in certain ways. It definitely
maybe
seemed like that.
yeah, I think maybe it was written out in the process somewhere and just some stuff stayed. You know what I mean? Like I think maybe they wrote it out of it, or maybe it comes in later. I don't know, but
Yeah, there's something
it,
going on there, that's for
but
sure.
there,
And because like
there's
when he died, she was like, it was like her lover,
yeah,
the
yeah,
way that she
exactly.
reacted.
And not only that, like when she was talking about how the voices were telling her to do things, it was in order to keep him alive, and it's like I can
Yeah,
understand,
exactly. Which was the
and
trick.
which her obsession though felt more than just the brother. You know what I mean? I know I know siblings are very tight. Like I get it, but this was like more. I don't know. It seemed like
This was like
more
Seinfeld, like
more OC.
episode
It
like
was more
creepy.
OCD ish. Yeah, yeah.
you're just like you're just like, oh, wait, aren't you sister and brother? Why are you French kissing each other?
Yeah,
But
that's the
yeah,
one that's the one that gets a Starbucks silent for about 10 seconds after they leave, and then, then it just continues on like.
exactly. So yeah, I don't know. But all in all, like I said, the story's driven. It it has a good like creep factor that like as a person that's
Hey!
into like horror kind of shows and movies and stuff. Um, it's not cheesy. It's very like serious, and a little bit gory at times. You're just like not expecting it like to be so gory
Yeah.
because it's you think of it like a TV show, like almost like made for TV, but then it just goes like crazy, and you're just like, whoa, okay, it's not made for TV. It's like, and then you feel like you're watching a movie because the cinematography is very movie looking with the music and everything,
Mm-hmm.
which I
I'm
think they
listening.
got from like Stranger Things
Sarah's queuing that
and
up.
the and that other you know, like it, you know,
Yeah.
these kind of like let's give you an old school feel, but because we don't really know what time this is happening at.
And I'm
There's no like
wondering,
phones.
one thing they didn't
All of these
establish.
people were picked up at different times. So
I
it's like
wonder if
whatever time they're currently at, it's like I don't think it's the same as ours. You know what I mean?
I don't think so either. I guess we might as well just bear the full spoiler. They're building a radio tower because the guy, the family that shows up in the beginning, the father, he actually is an engineer, and you know they start noticing weird things with the power, for instance, like the power, like all the houses that were built, none of the none of the peripherals that they use need to be plugged in.
They
Like
don't have
some
they
of them
don't
have
have
yeah, some of them have broken wires and they're not even connected to anything, but you know, the lights go on. You know, like weird shit like that. Well, like they you get that feeling that they're
which
completely
makes you think
disconnected.
kind of like Alien or like you remember that movie Dark City where they tune in all the
That's so
when they
Dark
slept
City.
they
That's the one where they're all on a spaceship and they don't even know it.
exactly, it's a spaceship but
Yeah,
it's designed to look like it's like a spaceship that has holographic imagery technology like Star Trek, the Next
right,
Generation type of shit, like from the holodeck, you know, but instead of a holodeck it's like a hollow ship.
right.
The whole ship is made to look like it's their world,
Well,
and
they
the
just to say how
people that are
horror
controlling
shit.
it from underneath the dark city, right, in the
Right,
ship, essentially in the core, they were doing something called tuning, which in a way was basically like almost like with their mind, I guess, connecting to the ship and allowing it to mold into what they're thinking, like what almost like telepathy meets psychometry meets telekinesis
right.
altogether. And so I think a similar thing is going on here. I just don't know who's the people that are dreaming it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely leaves room for thought. I mean, like I said, with that throwaway line that he uses, where he says, "Well, it's not purgatory" or whatever exactly the line was. It was kind of clever because if you caught it, you know you're one of the ones that were pissed off about the ending of Lost. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
don't worry,
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
not that. You can come along with us for another 5 years.
Uh-huh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. We're not gonna do the same thing that we did to you last time.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of funny. But what can you do? Anyway, just showing
All right,
people our new room. Look at this. Our fancy
we
new
should probably move
set.
on to the next one. I give
I
that
think
one like a, I don't know, 8 out of 10.
give it about an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'd give that definitely 5. That's 5 out of 6 beers for me, for sure. Well, I'm actually not entirely unhappy to say that
I'd give it a
for
9, but like I want to kind of see where it's going
yeah. Well, no. You didn't
in
give
the
it
next
a
season.
yeah. You didn't give it an amateur rating. I thought that was yeah. I think that's deserving of an 8. For sure. I think that's fair. It was well made. It was well paced. I did marathon. I did 3 sittings. I kind of did like I did like 4, and then I did like 2 and 2 and 2 kind of thing. Whatever it was, however many there was. I think there was 9 of them, wasn't there? 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. But yeah, it was pretty good. But moving along, I'm not
Moving right along.
unhappy. I'm not unhappy to say that Strange New Worlds didn't piss me off. Not at all. I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised. Here's a preview. Strange New Worlds. As soon as I get the play button.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt. This is your captain? Our mission. To chart the stars. Push the boundaries of what is known. And what is possible.
I'm standing on the surface of a comet.
I love this job.
These people, this crew, I believe we can do anything.
You wanted to seek out new life. Go where the aliens are.
Your presence is blasphemy.
Let's talk about this. Find some
I think that went well. Perhaps we should kiss.
That seems logical.
Maybe we don't touch anything else. Just a suggestion.
The whole future hangs in the balance.
No one can know the future. One can only follow one's instincts.
You're the best of Starfleet. Our ability to work together, that's our greatest strength. Let's show them what you got.
Yeah.
And there it
Didn't
is.
didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I'm surprised. I mean, you get so used to hating shows lately, you know. Just get so used to it. It's like you gotta check yourself before you become a contrarian. You know what I mean?
You're just a hater.
Just a hater, buddy. You're just a fucking hater. No, man. I really wanted to like it, because I caught wind of it well, Anson Mount, who was brought in on Discovery to play Commander Pike, and I guess people just really dug him. Like they were like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like what he pulled off there, and it was a weird thing too, because like I guess Discovery, plot wise, like in the show, was like a it was kind of like a secret top science, vessel really. So they had different uniforms. So when Pike shows up with his crew and they had the the old Starfleet colors going on, they were pretty much like on the ball, like with the, I guess you could say, like it was a little updated, obviously, like a little flashier looking, but they in spirit it was pretty much the same presentation as original Trek, and it was kind of like a sneak peek into what the future could be if Trek decided to actually do things right. But so Discovery just decided to go, okay, since we failed to be a prequel because we showed everything way more better than the original series before its own time, which was completely weird, and I didn't understand the logic there. I think they tried to do something and it just failed miserably, but they decided to go far into the future where the plot hasn't been written yet and they can't break canon. They just went
yeah, exactly.
they just went so far ahead in the future they couldn't break canon, period. So they said, we'll just leave that tamale alone. And well, they as I was saying, Anson Mount caught wind of the feedback from the audience and said, yeah, hey, if the powers that be are into it, I'm into it. And here we go. Not a lot of the same stuff that pissed me off about Discovery even made it into this, and I was very, very surprised. Yes, they do mention Michael Burnham at least once or twice. It's like, can we do Trek where we don't talk about it? We don't talk about that person. But I guess can't have everything. And the last one I watched did have it dipped its toe into the woke sphere a little bit, but not enough, not more than it ever did before, like classically speaking, because it always tried to do progressive things, like as a show, it always did. Like that's what made the show, like in a sense, they were always there to do that thing first before any other show did. So like I've never been against it. I've been against the virtue signaling and the bad plot and that put in place of a good plot. No, I think the show's doing rather well. I think it hit the ground with its feet running. And what do you think?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it immensely. I didn't really like the classic Trek. I liked Star Trek: The Next Generation more so, but I did actually go back and watch classic Trek after kind of watching all the others.
Yeah, there's a lot to like.
And I kind of understand the elements of it, but I felt it was a little cheesy. You're supposed to believe certain things are the certain things, and they don't look like certain things. So it's hard for me to,
it kind of takes you out a little bit. It takes you out of it. I can understand. I can understand that. See, if you grew up with it though, like you don't see that part of it because
there's an imagination element.
Because exactly. Like almost
in Next Generation.
Despite visual effects, that's the wrong word. Aside from visual effects, everything else, like in classic Trek, could have been done on a stage play. Like it was all like stage theater. Like 90% of it was
totally was. Yeah, I felt like I was watching, like a play.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
A lot of them are even written like that. I mean, we were coming out of an age where stage play was more common than everything else. Like television was still rather new. Like, I mean, as a social pastime, you know what I mean? And companies making shows were still learning the ropes, And like if I were to say, are they making better quality stuff today? I'd say yes. Do they, are they more nuanced in terms of I'm talking about in a sense where if it's a good show, why is it a good show over not? And usually it's because of nuance in writing. Like, there's only 7 stories that exist, technically. Like, there's only 7 stories. And variations of these stories is what basically, and different interplays and different mixes of these stories are what amounts to a full, experience, like as far as movies go. So, and shows rather. But they were just new at it, Nowadays, they have the ability to make the most amazing visuals and stuff, but that clever writing, I don't know, man.
And they put the symphony music back, so it was like,
they did a weird thing. They kind of did like they kind of did
a mix. There's a mix going on. There's
like, a little bit of dub. There's a little bit of dub and a little bit of like drum and bass in there, and then they have like the original orchestral soundtrack, and it kind of plays back and forth between. I've heard a little bit of dub in there, like in the very beginning of the each episode in the intro when they drop the music. Like there's a little bit of like there's like a dub drop, and then it goes right into drum and bass. Like it's it's kind of catchy. I have to say, I don't completely hate it. I was like, all right, okay, I dig it, and I get it. And then of course
it's very symphony. Like it has the symphony sound.
Yeah, totally, absolutely, yeah, like from the original series, absolutely. And I did, like I said, it's just been processed into a newer kind of a sound. Like if you had like the old version come out on
some point, are they gonna actually just do Star Trek again?
Well, this is what I wonder if this is what they're planning. I wonder because Pike's only got 10 years, right? So here's what I see. Here's what I see kind of happening. Obviously, they're not going to play out the whole 10 years of his upcoming life. I have a feeling what they're going to do is they're going to redo. I know we said we'd hate it if they did it, but I'd be interested to see how they do it. But yeah, I think they're going to redo the cage.
I'm in the cage. I'm in the trap.
I know what you meant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is it's a trap. Hopefully they don't piss anybody off like they pissed off that. When they pissed that actor off, after just killing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was mad. He was like, "What the hell was that?" He just gets sucked out like he was like not a character of Star Wars too. Like, and then that, yeah, and then Princess Leia, or sorry, General Leia, General Organa, just goes super cunt and just starts flying with using the Force flies. How did she get back into the ship? How do you enter the ship from the outside?
I guess there was no force field at that point because it was just like everything was like floating.
Yeah, well, they don't have emitter. They don't have emitters like Star Trek. Like they can't plug a hull breach with a freaking force field. Like they have to have an emitter like in place to do that. Like,
and there was a door that was closed. So.
But the whole fucking all the bulkheads and everything were blown out. Like it was the whole section of ship was blown out. So if they sealed the door, there's no airlock. How does she get in? Like they can't just open the window and crawl in.
Did they?
No, they didn't.
That's probably why they didn't show that.
They didn't show shit. Damn writers, they suck. Sorry for the crossover, but this is off the rails. This is what we do.
Exactly.
Oh man, but it's funny because the second episode of Strange New Worlds, I didn't personally. It was the weakest one to me, and it was the one if you don't remember, that was the one where Uhuru is figuring out the music, like it was a musical kind of a thing where they had to figure out the notes and this. I was like, weak. Just didn't like it. It was like, if they're already jumping to these, the rest of the season's gonna suck. But thankfully, it didn't. I was actually kind of impressed. I was getting a little bit uppity about mentioning the Gorn, but they kind of handled it well. I mean, I understand using things for nostalgia's sake to go, oh, I know what that is, you know.
Right.
I know what that is, but Kirk's. I mean, I was just gonna say Kirk's species, humans. Us humans. I mean, like we're all human here.
Yeah,
no,
you're a human too, right?
I'm human too. Fucking Kirk though. Kirk's species,
human
the
too.
humans. Well, Kirk was the first human to meet them, though. Was the Gorn, like so? They didn't really have any connection, as far as I know. But they were careful to not give too much involvement. I like how they introduced the Gorn just as relentless hunters, like a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
Just hungry, just want to pick the flesh off your bones. I was like, holy fuck, these guys don't stop. They literally followed him into the event horizon of a freaking black hole. So like,
I have
to give them props if they're gonna fall. Yeah, it's like you gotta be hungry, boy. I'm telling you. But yeah, no, it was pretty halfway decent.
They're kind of like predators.
Yeah, I very much so. Kind of reminds me a bit of the Hirogen, except for the Hirogen spoke, like the Hirogen from Voyager.
Okay.
Yeah, the Hirogen were very. They were like predators. Like they just wanted prey to hunt. That's all it was. In fact, one
they
of
were
the
kind of reptilian too.
A little bit, yeah. And Janeway made a deal with them, trade them the hollow emitters so that they could create holographic hunting areas. So that what they do, they took over Voyager and turned the whole ship into a holographic matrix. Remember? And then they're reenacting World War II. That was freaking dope. I don't care. That was so
crazy.
dope. Oh, and everybody that got
like people Nazis, but they're like aliens.
Yeah, alien Nazis. Yeah, the Hirogen Nazis. They were badass. That was pretty crazy. That was yeah. And people like they
for real.
People would get actual. Yeah, they would turn off all the safety protocols, so people actually got injured and like brought so close to the point of death, and then freaking beamed out to the sick bay, healed, and then put right back in. About oh man, that would have been horrible. That was just grinding. That would be worse than a video game because it'd be like real and like, I don't want to feel like that again.
You like actually feel it, and then you're like, oh, well, I got that healed. Oh, but then I'm gonna feel it again.
Oh, it'd be horrible. That would just be so bad. Oh shit. We're only seeing the top of your head again, but it's kind of like your
back to the tank.
What's his name from Tool Time? Tim Taylor, twat. What the fuck was that?
Al.
Al, that's it. I was call him William, but I don't know. I just make a name, right, Steve? So, yeah, it was pretty cool, and I think what they're gonna do, though, is I think they're gonna lead up to those events, and they're gonna do the handover, and I think they're gonna do it in celebration. They'll line it up. It'll be like I don't know. What was the last anniversary that they did for Wasn't Star Trek 50 years? Just recently? Like last year, the year before or something, wasn't it 50 years of Star Trek?
Oh, yeah, 50.
Yeah, because that sounds about right, because I remember it has to be about 15 years ago they did the 35. I remember there's a box set for all the Star Trek motion pictures that they had at the time, and the whole library of VHS tapes was actually very, very, very sweet, because it was a nice big box set, and it basically formed the picture of the front facing profile of the Enterprise. Was pretty neat. But
right,
yeah, but they got a few more moves to add to that now, unfortunately. Talking to you, Nemesis. But so I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to give. I might have to give a bit of a rookie score on this one, because it was enough to make me believe in Trek again. So I'm gonna award it the six. I'm gonna award it the 6-pack this time because like it has to be something halfway decent to watch. And did they get it all right? No. Were there some things that were irritating that pissed me off? Yes. Was it? Is it easy to overlook though because of the other positives? Absolutely. I dig Anson Mount as a captain. I think he's just different enough. Like he's kind of funny and he's quirky, but he's also stiff as a board when he needs to be. So like it's kind of he's at first I thought he was kind of goofy actually, but he did have that Pike. If you go and do a Google search and look up, Pike from what was the before it was named the Cage? It was named after the Cage failed as a pilot, they recut it with Captain Kirk in it, and that was called Menagerie. Thank you. Thank you, brain. But look up Menagerie and or the Cage. And you get a lot more of Pike and Cage than you do in Menagerie. Or I might have that flipped around with my Lex Dixia, but I digress. You'll see that.
Digest a lot.
Yeah, I digest a lot. Yeah, they do it. They do have a very similar kind of presence, I guess is the word I'm looking for, and it's weird because he does have that 50s kind of throwback, like that 50s aviation guy kind of look. You know what I mean? he looks like he could just kind of go out his front door and walk into his friggin' Spitfire and start it up and go and just take off. But that's it. And the rest of the cast is good. I actually knew their names. Like I actually remembered names of the cast members. Like three episodes deep, I was like, oh my God, I'm starting to remember their names even. Can I do that with Discovery? Not on your life. Except Michael Burnham, because they say her name like 300 times per episode. Space Jesus. Oh. But it's just crazy, that one. But no, it was halfway decent. I think the best episode was that was the best episode for me anyway so far was the Gorn one, because the ship does kind of start taking on damage and it's a bit crippled, and some of the different sections of the ship are kind of cut off from the others because they took damage from the Gorn attack. But as they get deeper into this singularity, their ship starts to buckle in points, and it's not really buckling, it's just you could hear it stressing under the immense torque and torsion from the black hole. And the characters have to work together as teams. Like, can you imagine? And nobody said, "Where's Michael Burnham?" Nobody said it. I was like, gosh.
Well, I like how introspective the new show is, because you really aren't getting that from the other ones. Like,
no,
like now we're also seeing away missions and things like that.
It feels more like
they're bringing people
exploring strange new worlds.
The that we would like.
That's right. Yeah, like it's original concept. That's right. Not this dark Picard, freaking circus. It's like I mean, season 1 Picard was like, what are we watching? Like, this is like, it was like 24. It's like 24 meets Starfleet.
For me, I liked the change and the connection. It felt like it more like Next Generation movies.
Yeah. And, of course, they also kept a lot of the look from the J.J. Abrams style choices that they made with the movies, like with the Star Trek reboot specifically. That I think they borrowed a lot of that and integrated it well. It doesn't annoy me when I see the lens flares here. Like, watching that on repeat viewings of the movie, like Star Trek by JJ there, yeah, on repeat viewings, it just annoys me more and more and more because like the flashes are more noticeable. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm more cognizant of them. First few times watching, it didn't bother me because they looked good. Don't get me wrong, but it's like okay, it's starting to get annoying. It's like watching Transformers, like I could not watch Transformers back to back to back to back. Like there's just no way I could do that. Like my brain would just like ooze out the side of my head through one of these holes, man. But yeah, no, they did the visuals just right. I think the effects hold up, and like like you were saying with the cheesiness of the original series, if you kind of blot out. Like like if you scrunch up your eyes and just kind of really kind of look through your squinty eyes, and but do that mentally, you can kind of forgive Strange New Worlds because they're still adapting the tech to at least look similar and be on par with the technology that they had. They're just making it look like it would have looked like in a future environment. I mean, that's all they're doing. They're adapting the actual tech to what it would look like, even if it's in terms of
it looks more realistic.
It looks more realistic to what we'd be used to. Like, it's, like and I kind of appreciate that that's a hard thing to do, especially because people are hard to please. Growing up today, I mean, special effects are, you can do them at home now. So like if people are like the biggest judges, you know what I mean? Like, and it's really hard to watch something that doesn't hold up. I mean, that's where you have to really kind of throw the whole story aspect and your imagination in there. And my gosh, with the writing I've seen in some of the shows today, imagination is very, very non-existent in some cases. But we won't talk about Discovery. Now, this is Strange New Worlds, and I'll give it the 6-pack myself. I think it did well for its first season. I think it did better for a first season than any other show because Star Trek: The Next Generation sucked the big one first season. Let's be honest. It went through some growing pains between the friggin' spandex uniforms all the way to friggin' cheerleader. Friggin' what's her name? Deanna Troi, like the cheerleader Deanna Troi. Friggin' look, this didn't do it for most people. Maybe for the intro of a porno, but I don't know. I don't watch those. Even Enterprise. See, Enterprise, I was hopeful when it came out that its first season, like it started off stellar, like because they didn't have any of the tech, they didn't have the transporters, they had to take shuttles and they had to use grappling hooks, like and stuff in space. It was just a different take on how to do Star Trek in a place without the gadgetry that they have and the techno babble to go along with it. Because how do you explain how these magical devices work? Well, you have techno babble, somewhat loosely based on reality. So I was really hopeful for Enterprise to be something else, but it just ended up turning into Trek. Like they had transporters by episode 4. And we didn't know this going in, but they actually could transport stuff, just not live living things. So
yeah,
and it was like So then I got hopeful. Oh, maybe we're gonna have something like the Fly, like that kind of those kinds of stories. Because now we got developing technologies even more incredible than not having it. To be honest, from a writer's perspective, they didn't explore most of that. They did do a clever thing that I do remember that I did like though, and that was when they decided to use the cargo transporter on a person in a pinch because the person was going to die anyway, and there was a windstorm, like a tornado. I don't know if you remember this, but there's stuff whipping around, and when they transported them, they also transported all this stuff in that state between being solid and ethereal. It also transported like stuff flying around, and yeah, he got caught with a bunch of bits inside his body when he got to the Enterprise. That was kind of cool. Horrible for the guy. I bet you that hurt.
yeah, that probably wasn't fun for him.
But it was cool that the writers even thought of that and incorporated it. But he didn't get much, and I think they shit the bed. And then, you get a show that calls itself a prequel to the original series, and they got better technology than the Next Generation. It's like, what?
Yeah,
Come on.
it's kind of funny.
And that was Discovery. And then I think, and they're like, two wrongs make a right. So then they did Picard. And I digress once again. No, they did fine with Strange New Worlds. It could have been a lot worse. I'm glad it wasn't. Kurtzman, stay away from this. Don't write a single fucking episode of Strange New Worlds. Stay away. This is a Kurtzman-free zone. Don't screw up Star Trek again.
All right.
That was my request to the ether. And that's that. And
so what's your scale?
Oh, I give it the whole
Score,
6 out of 6 beers. It's a rookie score, I know, but I'm giving it the whole 6-pack, and I'll tell you why. Because somehow I felt like it was Trek. I felt like Trek was back. Even in part for me to feel that way again and like actually enjoy it and not,
I wasn't like Pike more than Kirk.
I like him different. I like him differently. I can't say I like him more.
I don't know if I ever liked Kirk really, but I mean, it's like because I went into it so late. But I did I liked Kirk from the movies.
Yeah. And like, see, even there, like that's the Kirk that's the Kirk that I'm taking with me from all of this, right? Is where I got left with it, like, except for Generations, I hated that.
Of course, except for Generations, like where he died.
Totally hated it. Damn you, Zortran, whatever the fuck his name was.
Or no, he's in the Nexus, right? No.
Yeah, he might still be alive. And this is a fucking funny thing because I think they wanted to do that with Enterprise. I was reading or seeing. I was watching something that was covering some of the behind the scenes of Enterprise, and I think they wanted to do that because there's an episode of. Oh God, we're not going to get into it. We're not going to get into it. There's a whole other. You know what? Well, I could talk for an entire freaking podcast just on that because there's an episode of original series that deals with how they started with the Mirror Universe episodes, and the Mirror Universe is part of this. And like I was saying, it was also part of Picard. This is a big thing. We'll talk about the Mirror Universe and just dedicate an entire episode to it.
There you go.
So we'll get off of that. It gets a 6 out of 6 beers just for surprising me that they could still do Trek. Encouragement, stay away. And that brings us to our crowned achievement as a society moving towards a better tomorrow. What is it that
Orville?
we're covering? Yeah, man. I'm pretty happy with what they did. Because it was like replacement Trek for us guys, because we, like when
basically
they were the only guys doing,
more so Trek. Than
like
Trek.
It was Trek when Trek couldn't be Trek. Like it was,
it went above and beyond Trek, like in ways.
Yeah,
and has still.
I agree. I got well, if people haven't seen the Orville and don't know how it looks, it's very comparable to the Next Generation. And in fact, a lot of the staff involved with the production of Next Generation ended up working for McFarlane himself. Yes, McFarlane. What's his?
So.
Seth MacFarlane, the maker of Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane, he's the maker of the Orville.
Well, it started out as like funny,
potty humor.
Still Trek sort of, but going beyond and things that, Trek would never do.
Making the dick jokes.
Kept us wanting to see more. What are they gonna do next? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
they actually threw us a loop with the whole storyline of the the
Yeah.
characters that
And
were like together and
it's
had a child, and it was like,
yeah, it's almost like an alternative, like an alternate reality of Next Generation. Or I'll play a preview trailer for the peeps here. Hey, is this a preview or an episode? I don't. What? No, that's not what I wanted. How did that get in there? That's hilarious.
what, you were just playing an episode?
Yeah, I don't know how that. No, it was a clip. I was downloading clips, and no, it's not the right one. I gotta get the trailer. Do 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 do. Where's the trailer? Where are you? There you are. And yeah. Yeah, I was gonna make what do you call it? I was gonna make like a little there's a little trailer for this thing that we're doing right now, but I never did. And I was downloading clips to cut together, and yeah, that was a clip from an episode. But there we go. Got it.
A traveler comes upon the statue of an emperor, inscribed with the words, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works and despair." Only there's nothing left beside it, except empty desert.
It is good to be back.
I really wish they'd let us play music up here.
Why?
Because we'd already be on our feet, ready for action.
We have considered your request for passage through our territory, and we will not stop you. But do not expect us to save you.
Kalon ship pursuing.
Exploration always carries risk. I say we risk it.
Everything forbidden is sweet.
This is a good day.
It is a good day.
You do know where you're going, right?
Nope.
Oh boy.
Let's go make some history.
I didn't prepare anything.
Just speak from your heart.
We're about to enter unexplored space. I know you're all just as excited as I am, so...
Let's give this everything we got, and may the Force be with you.
Perfect.
We've served together. We've laughed together.
That
And
was
we
a little
all
bit of fan
owe each
service.
other our lives.
You will surrender or you will die.
Gordon!
On it!
And it's a very special thing.
We should all get big bonuses.
This is history in the making.
Here's to a better future.
I will be sure to bring my, what does Lieutenant Malloy call it? My A game.
There you go, buddy.
We have to find a way to preserve some kind of peace.
Humans have a tendency to reduce things to black and white, good and evil.
We can find a way to coexist.
You're a Kalon. Your people would like to see us all dead.
After all these years, you're still able to surprise me.
Show the galaxy that humans are different, that we value life even when our enemies don't.
Captain, you are being deceived.
It's almost like yesterday was one life. And today's another. And everything's different on this side of time.
Definitely worth the wait.
Hear ye, hear ye. That's a pretty good trailer, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't
I'm getting copyright strikes out the wazoo, but who cares? This is fair use because we're reviewing it. But hey,
editorializing.
It's pretty damn. It's pretty impressive though. I mean, if I'm going back to the ending of season 2, where they had the Kalon battle, that was really, really impressive. Like, it
was brutal.
Yeah, like it was impressively done. Like it was well animated. It was very spectacular. Well, like I mean, the sound editing, the music. They've got the They got the music writers. They've got production staff, like people who do all the what do you call it? All the stage direction, or sorry, I should say the set direction and what have you. Set designers from the Next Generation, like all these guys who needed jobs when Enterprise ended. Basically, I think they're all working for Seth MacFarlane now, and of course the COVID, they're kind of shut everyone down while they're in the middle of making the third season happen back in 2020. It's been a long wait to get to season 3, and yeah, we were talking about that first episode, the first season, sorry, rather. Yeah, they had a lot more dick jokes, and very, very, very. I almost don't want to even bring it up, but we lost a very funny man, and we also lost his character on the show as well. Norm Macdonald, you ever hear of the guy? Yeah.
Yeah, that was sad. But
yeah,
it was nice that they used like, I don't know if they recorded it before he died, or it's like.
Oh yeah. They already had 5 episodes. I looked at the production schedule that they had, or sorry, not the production schedule. I looked at the production notes that they released, or somebody released it anyway. They had up to 5 episodes made by 2020, like halfway through 2020. So Norm Macdonald was still alive when they had done the first, I don't know, few episodes. I don't know what order they did them in, like what they produced them in. So 5 episodes randomly will have Norm Macdonald material. So if they don't have enough for the whole episode, they'll probably just write them right out, and they'll have some bits and pieces. I have a feeling they're gonna have one, probably dedicated to him if they haven't already. They mentioned him in the first episode. They said bye to him.
Yeah, no, they definitely had like a memorial type of thing, like, or they said that this was for him or something like that.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that somewhere
the episode where his character was in, is I bet you they'll still have that character, just he won't talk.
Well, I have a feeling that they'll probably, if they have a whole episode's worth of him, and their takes that they did, because he would just phone them in. Like, he literally did it from his house. Like, he would just like do all the takes, like, over Zoom, and because he's an animated, like, he's not physically there anyway. Like, so like they just basically would do the camera tracking from his mouth, like through the freaking webcam, I'm sure. Like, I don't know for sure, but that's knowing Norm Macdonald, be like, yeah, I'll just call it in. It's truly what I can. But yeah, no, I'm sure if they had a whole what, I don't know his character's name, I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, definitely.
If they had a blank centric episode, because they had an episode that kind of centered on him and the doctor in season 2 anyway. Did he turn into Yeah, he turned into a tub, like he just went into jelly form in a tub, and she swam in him. I know, that sounds bad. That's just weird. That's just weird. Yeah, humans, you haven't got that weird yet, have you? But hey, yeah, go on. Tell us what you think of this show. I mean, it's got a.
Well, like I said, it's like the closest thing you can get to classic Next Generation, probably like 4th, 5th season.
Yeah.
And
still be superior. Like I almost
and you still want more. You still want to their world building. Like there's this whole like system now, and like areas where they travel. It's very
and an alternate reality.
Yeah, an alternate. Yeah, exactly. And they have like
kind of a mirror universe sort of flip. Yeah, they did like a mirror universe kind of idea.
Yeah, so it's like, but they do like the way missions and stuff. They explore like situations and then contemplate that and have some sort of like screenplay that allows
Yeah.
the viewer to actually try to figure out what's going on
Yeah.
before they reveal it.
Yeah, exactly. And like puzzle pieces, all of the characters have to use all their individual skills and like combine forces, or else they're fucked. You know, like if they
Yeah,
have
they're
to
like
work
totally
together.
have to be a team
Yeah.
in usual situations. If they end up working like more personal, like I have to, I'm gonna only do this for myself type of thing, and things go awry.
Yeah. Freaking
Like think about what happened with the Kalon thing. You know, it's
yeah.
like once he realized that he was kind of part of the problem, he like rewrote his own um programming.
Yeah, yeah. Like and you know, it's funny because like they often go back to him. See with Data, because he's kind of like the analog to Data, right? From Next
Yeah, he's like
Generation.
totally Data. Yeah.
But the thing is with Data, Data was always trying to be human, and you know, like and almost in a way longing to be human as much as an emotionless, you know, computer could, you know. But with the Kalon, he doesn't really give a shit. Like he doesn't even. He truly shows no emotion by just not
No emotion. Yeah,
just not
exactly.
giving
He
a
doesn't
shit.
even
However,
show that he wants to have emotion.
but his actions completely say otherwise, and that's what makes him really interesting because like he doesn't let on.
Yeah, you're
Like
right. His movements don't match what he says.
that's right, and his actions as well, like the things that he does. Like for instance,
Yeah, that's
like
what
you
I
know,
mean by movement. Yeah.
okay, yeah,
How he
but when,
moves
like
his arms and
no,
how
but
he
what?
walks or something.
No. I mean, when I say the things that he does, I mean like the things that like the situationally speaking, like he short circuited himself because you know he realized that all the people on the ship, well, most of the people on the ship hated him
Yeah,
because
it's an emotional response.
yeah.
That is an emotional response. But
So
was
he
saying
short
that he doesn't
circuited
have
himself in such a fashion that he couldn't be rebooted, and you know it showed depression.
and it was because of what everybody was saying to him,
Yeah.
and it basically he didn't want to make them feel bad.
Right. It could because he knew that the performance of the ship would decline because of his presence. So he broke it down to a logical thing. Like he doesn't give a shit about it, you know, about anything because he's just emotionless. He's like, well, you know, the efficiency of the ship would be down by about 13% if I stayed around. So, you know, so he broke it down to like a logical reason, but you know, it was because he was sad that everyone hated him, you know, like, and they left that open. Like they didn't.
Yeah, but in the end, before he kills himself, he makes sure that like all of the efficiency that he is seeing that would be affected by him staying would be fixed by the things that he did.
Right. But the other efficiency was people. Like he was talking about the crew.
It was almost like
Yeah.
a what you call that suicide note.
Yeah. Well, but the thing about the efficiency, right, is that when he was talking about efficiency, he wasn't talking about like engine efficiency. He was talking about the human efficiency, like the people on board, they would be distracted. Their jobs, you know, would be affected by his presence. Like so, the entire ship as a whole would suffer because of his, you know, being around. Like I said, he broke it down to a logical reason, but really at the end of the day, he did it out of depression because nobody would talk to him and no one liked him. And and then the kid told him that he wished he was dead. So he's like, all right, I'll kill myself.
Yeah, and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, it's weird how they kind of. And they don't have him look like they don't give him a humanoid
you know,
face.
like in the sense that like he's kind of like a stepfather to that kid.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, so like for him to like say, yeah, I don't want you.
Wow, more like an ex, you know, mama boyfriend. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but exactly. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like if he was like a stepdad, ex mama boyfriend.
He was a best friend. He was a
That's just how.
Yeah. Well,
the
way he got down the doctor's pants,
their father.
he was their friend before anything. Like, so before the doctor and him got involved, he was already friends with the kids because they had science. They were curious about science and stuff, and they were just, that's how he got down the doctor's pants in the first place, because the kids were interested in learning stuff. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they
Yeah.
had like a connection, and
Yeah.
so like once
And that-
he severed that connection, I think that hit him
Yeah,
hard.
that did him in. Yeah, and it was that killed him
But
basically.
he couldn't express it, so like instead he just short circuited himself.
Yeah, well, he just logicked his
in a
way out of it.
to express it.
Yeah.
But maybe subconsciously. I don't know if he consciously was doing that or not.
Well,
And-
that's
and then- and then,
that's why I'm saying that the writing, the way it's written.
And there was like this racist element to that episode as well.
There was.
with the woman, like who had who had to like watch her friend die or possibly love her. We don't know.
Yeah.
The way she like takes it, it makes me think love her more so. But the way that she expresses her hatred toward him is like a racist.
Oh yeah, totally,
way.
totally.
The way that they express it,
Kind of going back to like
I
a
think
world.
They went
yeah.
a little bit wokeism.
Well,
on that.
it's a bit of a
against it,
war
but I'm just saying
mentality
that
though
that's what-
too.
that was
Yeah,
there.
no, I hear what you're saying there, but it's a bit of a war mentality. It's funny, because before we got hit with a lot of this woke stuff, I mean, Orville was already setting boundaries on its own, like just like Star Trek did back in the day. I mean, the one character who's like the Worf kind of analog. I mean, his species, they're all male. Like they're all male.
Exactly. And then they have a female, and the female can't be a female. It's like they have this some sort of weird
cultural
basically
thing where they
castration type of thing.
That's right. It's
But
exactly
reverse
that.
castration, I guess.
It's female castration, which is actually very popular
Yeah, it's
in the
like
church
reverse, yeah.
in some cultures back in the day. Anyway, I don't know if it's still practiced today, but they do female castration in some beatnik places too. Like even today, like yeah, some tribes will do it. Like it's a weird thing.
But then it turned out that it was something that they suppressed long ago, and then they actually in the end of the episode they actually their culture was
There was
actually
a
starting to
reason
accept
for it. There was a reason for it, and I can't remember. It was biologically it affected their like at a physical level. It was a danger or something. I can't remember what it was, but that's how they became like a
Yeah, but it was like
monogender.
a Planned Parenthood type of thing. It's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, was it really
Before
that
a
way,
reason,
or was he just
no,
saying it
before
was
a
that way?
reason, for a reason apparently, because the females turned in. Didn't they evolve into some kind of crazy fucking killer monster if they went into a female mode or something?
I think that's what they said, but it wasn't true. It was like something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
To
There's
keep them doing the same process over and over again.
That's right. And I'll never forget the
Because they're all males and whatever. It's like they had like basically a gay culture type of thing. So
Basically,
when,
yeah. Like
in
the
a
entire
way,
culture, yeah.
It was like the type of gay character or person that is not accepting of the feminine aspects.
Now is
other than themselves, like a real woman type of thing, like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
then
yeah.
there can't be any real women, so there has to be. It's like it was kind of like a reversal of the Amazonian.
Right. Yeah,
In a way.
but I'll never forget the fucking the scene where what's his nuts there? He shows
There's a
up.
good episode,
When he shows up on the bridge with the
Makes you think.
mustache.
It's like,
right?
whoa.
Hey, when he shows up on the bridge with a mustache, it was great. How do you like my mustache? It's
Like I said, that's when they were like doing like kind of just off the wall stuff.
more
like,
campy. It was more
never see
campy
it.
humor. More, yeah.
It
yeah.
seems like now they've kind of gotten a foothold since they're like in the third season.
Yeah.
And we know their character development.
It's
we know
gotten,
who they
it's
are.
and it's
how
got
they
more
interact with each other.
story driven. It's not just
So now
throwaway
it's more
jokes.
story. It's like it's becoming more epic.
Yeah, it's less less Family Guy and more good story. Like it's really well
Yeah,
done.
it's more actually like Star Trek, The Next Generation, like or Voyager, kind of
Yeah.
world.
And I'll tell you,
Except
Seth.
obviously they're building their own world. They have their own process of,
Yeah.
their space stations and how they fly. Their ships are weird with the whole like three ring,
Those
half
three
ring
rings,
things.
I swear to God, I think that is like
And some of the ships only have two. I've
well
noticed.
yeah, the smaller vessels only have two, but you know what I think that looks like? I think that looks like um what from Family Guy.
Kind of fishy.
No,
Kind
no,
of
you know
fish like
what the hell? I can't.
or
What the
aquatic.
hell's his name? Family Guy. What's his what's the fuck is his character's name? Family Guy.
In Family, Peter.
Peter Griffin. Yeah, that's Peter Griffin's mouth when he's laughing. Like his teeth. That's the shape. That's the shape of those
that's
warp
where you go with that. That's fun.
That's what I think. That's what
No,
I think it is.
I
It
mean, to
almost
me,
looks like it.
the ships are very like unlike they're different than Star Trek ships.
They look like
Like
a laughing mouth. They
they're
look like
more,
a laughing mouth. That's what it looks like when they're taking off. That's what it looks like to me anyway.
yeah, but like their design, like the actual design is like sleek, almost like a car or something.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
has like they have they're different design way. Like they have it's definitely got its own like style.
Yeah, and it's also got its own technology because they couldn't use warp because of copyright reasons.
Yeah, they
but
don't. They
yeah,
always like take
so
the
it's
shuttle
quantum.
wherever they go.
It's quantum slipstream or something like that. And so like I mean they don't need they're not bound to rules like that Star Trek has because they have to use warp nacelles to create the warp bubble like that they run around in. So they don't have to follow those rules. So now they can design the ship anyway, right? Like, but they've stuck with a standard that they've defined, and it gives them their own signature look. And it's hats off to them.
That's what I'm saying. And then also the other ships that they come across, they have a whole different look too. So it's like it's really interesting these designs that they've kind of brought into this universe, and now
they
expanded it.
They didn't write themselves into a box, because let's be fair. Like I mean, Star Trek, it wrote itself into a rule set that it has to follow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man.
So yeah, I give it another like 8, I guess, because I'm I don't really like giving 9s, but like that's like more. I mean, I'm just too hypercritical.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give it 5 so far, and the only reason why it doesn't get the 6-pack, the 6 out of 6, is because the only reason Star Trek Strange New Worlds got the 6 is because it's about damn time that somebody stepped up to plate to do their job right. But
right, and I bet you that the only reason they made that show was because of Orville.
Yeah, they don't want to be one-upped, man. And like Seth's like, yo bitches,
They like looked at Orville.
Who's
and
creeping
like,
up on you? Yeah, I'm creeping up on you.
Doing this?
Yeah. That's right. Because and hey, even Trek fans, like so many out there will say like that was Trek when we needed Trek and Trek couldn't give us Trek. You know what I mean? It was like, that was a Trek we needed when we needed Trek. So that for being out there, it would have got a 6. It would have got a 6 for me around season 2. Of course, the coof there. It snuffed out a lot of ideas out there and put the brakes. Pump the brakes on a lot of projects. And season 3 here being one of them. We probably would have got a lot more Norm Macdonald. We probably would have got a lot more other things. But I'm happy with what I saw. Is it perfect again? Hell no. But it's off to a strong start. It's definitely off to a strong start. Yeah, definitely. It gets 5 out of 6 high alcohol content beers for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to shoot itself in the foot. I think it's just going to keep on.
I think it can only grow. The problems I predict coming
Maybe
down.
they'll make a movie. There probably is going to be a movie at some point.
I hope they don't. In a way, I hope they don't go down that path because they don't need to. I think they're perfectly suited for the streaming space like this. You know what I mean? Like they are like mini movies to begin with. Like I don't think they need to go and
Yeah, they are kind of like mini. Or yeah, I would agree.
you know,
With that.
because
they have all of the.
one of the
stuff that you
reasons
get
it
from
works.
that.
One of the
Just
reasons it
short.
works, and just like why A Strange New Worlds works, is because they went back to that episodical style where every episode is self-contained. Now there can be an overarching long thing for certain characters and like certain plot points that are kind of long and overarching. But the interconnectedness that we saw, like with Picard, it just doesn't work for Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like Star Trek. Like I said, it feels more like 24 or some other show. You know, and it just it didn't give you that kind of feeling like you could just kind of go in on any episode of the season and just have fun watching it. It's like, oh crap, I gotta watch the other fucking 7 ones. But yeah. That being said, though, yeah, I think the reason that Orville works is because they keep the entertainment value high because each thing has a conclusion. You know, like each episode does have like a nice, nice ending, but it might open something up for the future. It might just shut down something, whatever. But you can watch each one without having to watch the whole thing.
There's a new episode actually.
Yeah, it probably is.
Called Gently Falling Rain.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, I'll be
probably
watching that
tomorrow.
soon.
I'm not gonna be able to tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's wrap it up because I'm probably gonna have to pass out in a minute.
No worries, man. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of those that are watching. And if you're not watching, you should be watching. And I'll be back very soon with Daily Noon or Reno because it's always noon somewhere. But that's a whole nother show. That'll probably be in about a half an hour to an hour from now. And then I could stop the streaming madness and then go to bed. But anyway, buddy. So that's it. That's all we wrote. That's it. We did 6 shows, and they weren't all
Mega show.
They weren't all terrible.
Part 2.
Yeah, they weren't all horrible. I'm pleasantly surprised that even Stranger Things. I was probably too harsh on it, but I will say 4 was stronger than season 3. But
well, we'll have to do a reprise when they drop
when we conclude. We gotta because that's totally gonna sway my appreciation for it. So I'm gonna have to say that will be the secret part 3 of the mega edition. But anyway, guys, do you have anything to say?
If you enjoy the show, like, share, subscribe, and all that.
And we'll see you next time here on.
This is Off the Rails.
Yeah, this is Off the Rails. And whoa, hey, I'm trying to click buttons and it's not working. Anyway, we're out. Peace out, guys. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And watch good stuff. Let us know if there's anything you want us to cover, and we'll review it. All right.